Having the right ad formats for your cleaning business can literally be the difference between burning tens of thousands of dollars versus building an asset that allows your business to scale to 7 figures. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the exact ad format that my agency has used to scale multiple dozens of cleaning businesses and generate over $1 million in revenue. So to start off this video, let's discuss the problem with most cleaning ads. So you might see something like this on Meta specifically, but also these other platforms like Nextdoor, maybe Craigslist, pretty much any platform that has a visual component to the advertising. And what catches my eye in this example is first you see this photo, which is very clearly a stock photo. And you guys don't want this. We're going to talk more about why this is a bad idea, but this just is like very generic. Then you also have this right here, 20% off. This is a very good example of a generic offer, very overplayed in my opinion. And if you're watching this, you probably don't love the idea of discounting your services, especially long term. Right? And then if you kind of like read the rest of the messaging, it talks a lot about we do this, we do that. It's lacking any benefits for the customer, right? If you talk about yourself too much, well, your customer doesn't care about that. They don't care if you offer 13 different cleaning services or if you promise high quality cleaning, which so does every other cleaning company that's advertising. You need to talk more about what's in it for them, right? And then the last thing is usually there's going to be some type of lack of call to action, or it's at least not compelling enough for why someone should take action. So we saw this with what I call the winning ad formula. And this is a 3-step system, very simple. First, we want to have some kind of high converting image or video, which is usually the middle portion of the ad that people see. That tends to be the first place someone's eyes go to. Then the second portion is going to be having relevant messaging. So after someone sees that image or that video, the next spot that their eyes usually go to is going to be the ad copy, which is the messaging above the ad, or sometimes the headline. And then lastly is going to be having a compelling offer. So this is kind of the glue that puts everything together and gets someone actually interested in doing business with you. So let's start off by talking about high converting images and video. And this portion is very important because again, this is the first spot that most people's eyes get drawn to. So the first thing I'm going to say is capture your own content. Guys, this is extremely important. It is my belief that if you operate a local service-based business and you are not going out on the field and capturing your own photos or videos, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. So many cleaning businesses make the mistake of relying on these AI-generated content platforms or stock images to basically carry their brand for them. And all they're doing is hurting their brand. You have to understand that you as a local business, the one unique selling proposition that you have over everybody else is your brand, meaning no one can copy your exact cleaners. They can't copy the clients that you service. They can't copy the homes or offices that you clean. So it is your duty to showcase this because this is literally your number one advantage. This is what makes you irreplaceable. So you want to broadcast your work, be proud of it. And this is what we've seen to be an important concept of making ads that actually print money. Now, another point of that is going to be having authenticity. So basically, how can you showcase your personality as much as possible? So whether that's including humor, maybe that's including some informational types of discussions. If you have like a bubbly and cute personality, maybe you showcase that on video. Whatever allows you to highlight your personality, this will do a good job in getting potential customers to know, like, and trust you ahead of time. Now, also, you want to make sure that you're showcasing the transformation. And the classic before and after images, I mean, this is time tested. This will always work well. So definitely consider those for your advertising, but also consider doing before and after videos, and not just showing the before and after, but also the during portion, which is that middle portion. You can really show the effectiveness of your work quite nicely in a video. And that's what really makes videos a very good option. And last but not least, this is something that most people don't talk about, but don't make it look like an ad. So I remember a couple years ago, I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw this video that had a ton of engagement. There was a lot of comments on it. And funny enough, it was actually an ad for a local cleaning business a couple towns over from me. And I clicked into this ad and I remember I was baffled that one, it was doing so well, but also two, how nicely it just blended into the platform. Meaning it looked like something that one of my friends on Facebook Facebook would just post on their stories. It wasn't anything fancy. There was no high production value to it. It was just a simple video of a cleaner cleaning a living room, basically. And there was a ton of interested buyers. Hey, do you service this town? How can I book? And that's when I realized that there's something to be said about having ads that look very native to the platform. So what we did is we took the same concept, we brought it back to the drawing board, and we said, how can we adopt that for some of our clients? And once we made the switch, what do you know? It became one of our main implementations with our Celebrity Maid marketing program. So if you're unsure of how to do this, just go on Instagram Reels, look at some of the Reels that are trending, or go on TikTok and see which videos are going viral. And you'll notice there's a lot of common themes between these videos, is that they're filmed vertically. Maybe they have like some captions or text overlay on them, and that's about it. They don't look like billboard ads or like what you see a lot of people doing where they'll go on Canva and use like one of their templates. No, they just look like native pieces of content. And I found that the best ads often look like this. So now let's actually look at some real life examples of some winning creatives, just so you have a better idea. So this on the left here is a time-lapse video. We've seen these work exceptionally well, and it could be either one scene in the home or several different scenes that you compile together. Either way works well. Then we have over here what's sometimes referred to as an ugly text ad. And this is where you just put like your headline as well as some bullet points of what your service offers over a bright color. And believe it or not, even though this ad doesn't have anything to do with cleaning, meaning you wouldn't know it's about cleaning unless you actually read the text on it, it does really well and gets a lot of people interested. So you can mold this to like whatever season or holiday is approaching. We've seen this to work really well. And then down here, you have the classic group pick. So this does wonders because one of the first things you're going to see is people's faces. And you have to understand that when you're marketing to your city or to your county, these are local homeowners. And the more that they can familiarize themselves with your brand and your cleaners, the better you're going to have performance-wise. So get your cleaners to hold your clients' pets in this case, or it could just be like your cleaners with your clients themselves, or maybe like just a group photo of all of your cleaners. These do really well. All right, so we just talked about the different images and videos. Let's talk about what makes messaging persuasive and ultimately someone's psychology to turn them into a buyer. So I like to use an acronym called PAS. So the first one is going to be problem. So once you have your ideal avatar that you want to target with your advertising, find out what's their biggest problem. Is it young couples with newborns? Is it someone who's arguing with their spouse all the time of whose turn it is to clean? Maybe it's an older person who doesn't have the physicality to actually do the cleaning themselves. Maybe it's a young professional who has a hot date coming over and they're embarrassed of what their apartment looks like. So there's usually going to be several distinct buckets of problems that your ideal avatar has. You want to pick one. Then after you pick one, you're going to agitate that problem. So let's take the example of the couple with a newborn. So their problem would be having a child, probably missing out on tons of sleep, having a dirty apartment or dirty home, right? So now we're going to agitate that by saying something along the lines of, you're losing 15 hours of sleep every week. You stare at the crust on your stove and all of the dust on your floors and your living room couches, and you're just wondering when the hell is this ever going to get clean, right? So that's where we're like jabbing a knife into that wound and really stirring it around. Sorry for the visual, but that's really what the purpose of this is, and get someone to realize they have a problem. Then we're going to wrap everything up with the solution, and that's going to be your company. So how do we make it very easy for these people to recognize your company as the authority and the only solution to their problem? That is what effective persuasive messaging looks like. And don't worry, I'm going to show clear examples of what this looks like later in this video. Then lastly, an attractive offer. So this is what turns a neutral person who's somewhat interested in your service into someone who is very excited and willing to pay you lots of money to get your cleaning done. Now, there's many different ways that you can offer your cleaning business. A lot of people assume that it's just discounts. So I'm going to write that as the first one, discount or percentage off, right? So yes, this is the most common one, and it's common for a reason. I mean, it definitely is an effective marketing strategy, but it's not the only way. And in fact, it's rarely one that we use or we suggest for our clients, because I think it is very overplayed, and it's hard for someone to really conceptualize what a 25% off looks like, especially if someone is naive to cleaning. Maybe they've never had a professional cleaning service off. So I just don't really like it for various reasons, but you could use it. Now, you could also do what I call the non-offer, and perfect example of this would just be request a free quote. Now, I call this a non-offer because we're not really like offering anything to the person necessarily in terms of like pricing or like even extra value, but technically requesting a free quote is an offer. Now, it's the most boring one and the most basic one, and it's the one that pretty much everyone does, but it is something you can do. We usually don't use this for our clients unless they already have a lot of lead flow and we actually want to vet these people ahead of time. Now, you could also do free offers. So this could be as simple as doing a free add-on like a baseboard or interior window cleaning. It could also be like a free hour of cleaning. So book 4 hours, get 1 hour free. Or you could do a more aggressive version of this, which is literally offering a free cleaning. Now, another example could be eco-friendly. So a lot of you guys offer eco-friendly cleaning solutions, but you don't broadcast this enough to your audience. So this is a good opportunity to just talk about, let's say, the health benefits, keeping their children or pets away from all of the toxic chemicals that are in traditional cleaning products. And there is a market for this. So that could be your offer. Now, you could also do what I would call charity or group events. So book a cleaning with us and get X amount of proceeds to this fundraiser or this donation or this charity. We partnered with Cleaning for a reason. So know that part of your support is also helping these people. It could be, hey, this town hall or community event, whatever, we're sponsoring this, blah, blah, blah. So that is an offer. Now, another thing you could do is time. So that's my little clock. A lot of people will spend money to get a service done at a quicker rate. So speed and convenience is very important. And if you're someone who has the bandwidth to take on cleanings at very short times notice, this could be a unique selling proposition and thus offer. So it could be something like, we promise to get your home booked in as soon as 12 hours, right? So hopefully this gave you some ideas of what you can do and whether you want to go the more traditional route, which would be like discounts, free offers, dollar amounts off, stuff like that, or one of these, which would be more so like, what are you giving back or what are you making it easier for the customer if they were to book with you? Now, I'm going to show you an example of an ad that pieces all of this together. But before I do that, if you're watching this video and you're saying to yourself, this is great, but I don't have time to do this, I'd rather just outsource this work to someone or a system that's proven, don't worry, I got you. Check out the link in the description of this video and learn how our Celebrity Maid marketing works. By booking a call with myself, we'll discuss the exact game plan that's right for your cleaning company and see if we can help you out. So check out the link in the description. Otherwise, back to the video. So the first thing that we have here is a time-lapse video. And this is clearly like a native, authentic piece of content. It doesn't scream AI. It doesn't look like something that we just got from a stock website. No, it's like a real video that's someone recorded. And we're putting this little location tag up here to call out to the audience. So this is a hack that you can use to make your ads more relevant to the cities or counties that you're targeting. And we've seen this to work really well. Then if we analyze the ad copy, so look, the first thing, embarrassed having company over. So that's the problem. If you remember the PAS solution. So let me write that. Here's the problem. And then right here, we say your unkept bathroom or dusty living room shouldn't control your life, right? So that's the agitate right here, controlling their life. And if we really wanted to like agitate this further, we could say something about like, you've spent the last 6 years of your life. You spent the past 6 years walking by your kitchen that never gets truly clean. Every time that you have your family over, you look at them with a side eye and wondering if they're just judging you, right? So you could definitely go into that further if you want, but that's kind of up to you to test. And then lastly, we have this portion. Our service makes living in a pristine home a breeze. So that's where our solution would come in, right? And then right here, this is our offer. For a limited time, get a free baseboard and oven cleaning. This top portion of the ad is identifying the buyer. They read this, they go, yeah, that resonates with me. Then once they see this offer down here, that like pushes them overboard. Game over. Let's do it. This is the company for me. So we just discussed how to create ad images and videos that convert. We talked about how to write the messaging that persuades someone into wanting to do business with you. And then we talked about how to create a compelling offer that puts this all together and give someone the extra push to like really go with your business. But this doesn't come without some potential mistakes. And I want to cover here the most common mistakes that I've seen with other advertisers, people that I've consulted with, or that have done their own marketing before working with us. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is killing ads too early. So this is especially popular with newer advertisers or advertisers that are spending a low budget. They become too emotional early on, and they're like constantly monitoring their ads manager. Like, oh crap, I've spent $17 and I haven't gotten a lead. This ad doesn't work, let's kill it. Or I don't know, my cost per click, it's $3. Someone told me it should be $1.50. Let's kill it. And when you operate from this place of scarcity, you're much more likely to kill ads too early and potentially lose an actual asset that could earn your business money month after month. So don't make this mistake. Make sure you give yourself enough runway to test ads properly. Now, another thing, which is kind of like the other side of this coin, could be under testing or over testing. So what do I mean by this? Your budget is going to determine how many ad variations you can run at once. And one mistake I've seen on one side is people under test. So maybe they find one ad that crushes it for their business and then stops working. So what do? A month later, they try and duplicate it and like launch it again. And maybe they only change like one little tweak, but it's still effectively the same ad. And then it doesn't perform. And then they wonder why. So this is an example of under testing. It could be out of laziness or maybe fear, but this is not a good strategy. Now, you could also fall in the other camp where you over test. And this is especially common with people that are spending relatively low amounts. Is let's say their budget is like $30 a day and they're trying to test 20 different ads at once, all these different videos, all these different photos, all these different messaging and angles. And then all that does is confuse the advertising platform because it's never actually able to like find a winner and optimize properly. And that leaves you stuck and clueless. Now, another thing is going to be not contacting leads quick enough. And this is a huge mistake. If you think back to the first clients that you've gotten for your cleaning business, they probably came from a referral, maybe word of mouth. So this could be like your friends, your family members. And I bet you that the first time you closed that client, you felt invincible. You said, wow, this client closed so easily. Growing my cleaning business, if I could just get like 100 more of these people or 300 more of these people, I'll be golden. I'll be able to scale in no time. And then you launch your first ad and you realize that as soon as you text a lead or call them, you hear crickets. And this is the reality of paid advertising. It is a competitive game. You are dealing with internet strangers, but your best odds of actually closing them are going to be contacting them quickly. So within the first 5 minutes of a lead coming in, that's like your sweet spot. You have to be calling leads within the first 5 minutes if you want to have the highest odds at converting them. They're going to either forget about you or just call one of your competitors. And then there's one more point, and this point is going to be the most important point of this whole video, because if you have this thing wrong, none of this matters. And that is going to be having the wrong infrastructure. So if you guys have a leak in your business, meaning maybe you have a difficult time finding cleaners, maybe you have a difficult time pricing, you're underpricing and you're not making any margin. Maybe you have a difficult time retaining clients. So there could be like a customer service issue or a quality of work issue. Maybe you have struggles with scheduling leads and finding flexibility in your schedule. There's so many moving parts of a cleaning business. And the truth is, all it takes is for one leak to disrupt your whole business. And it doesn't matter whether you're spending a couple $100 or tens of thousands of dollars in marketing. If you have a leak, none of this is going to matter. All it's going to do is highlight the issues that you have in your business. And unfortunately, we've come to this the hard way with some companies where they have a leak and they expect advertising to just be a band-aid fix to their underlying problems, and it doesn't work that way. So analyze your business first. Ask yourself questions like, have you grown well just off word of mouth? Do you have a good reputation? Meaning, does your Google business profile have at least a 4.7-star rating, let's say, with at least a couple dozen reviews? Are you typically getting a lot of referrals or no referrals? Are you actually making profit month after month or losing money month after month? So ask yourself these difficult questions, because if you don't have this figured out first, none of this matters. Now, if you do follow these ad concepts, I guarantee you will start seeing instant improvement in your advertising and start generating more revenue. But the truth is, not everybody wants to do this themselves. And that is exactly why I created the Celebrity Maid marketing program. We figured out how to automate the client acquisition and conversion process for you. And the best part is it requires very little extra time on your part. So all you have to do is click the link in the description of this video, check it out, and if it sounds interesting, book a call with myself and we'll see if our program is a good fit for you. Now, while I'm confident that these ad concepts can guaranteed help your cleaning business grow, the truth is getting clients through the door is one thing, making a lot of money from them is another thing. And unless you're maximizing your lifetime value, you will never achieve this. Luckily for you, I have a video that I'm going to link up here that talks about everything, how to maximize the lifetime value per customer so that your cleaning business actually makes a return on your investment and you're left over with some money. Check it out here. You won't want to miss it.